Hola, Sai here, Wisdom of the Way. And today, I would like to share with you what I feel is the greatest invitation of the Camino de Santiago, the Camino of life, and that's the inner Camino, the Camino within. And I really feel that that's really often the purpose for the outer Camino, these experiences out in the world or on the Camino de Santiago, which are really incredible, to walk on this planet in this beauty and to meet people from around the world, to exchange, to share, to learn, to celebrate, to feel the high moments, the low moments, all of it, I feel is really inviting us to our inner Camino, to the inner experience. And it's all happening through our inner world, through our interpretation, through our lens that we have that is influenced by how we see the world, our conditioning, our programming, maybe the environment, the way we grew up, this blueprint, if you like, that we got when we were young, or when we came to this world, or for the first years of our life. But it really has such a big impact, and then of course the lived experiences since then has such a big impact on the way we see the world, how we interpret this moment. And we can be here, you and me can be here in this moment looking at the same thing, talking about the same thing, and having a completely different experience of that. And so our experience of life is only ever happening from our translation or our interpretation, I should say, of the outside via the inner. So the inner Camino, and really what I feel the invitation is with this is to get closer to ourselves. And so whether it's walking the Camino de Santiago or whatever Camino it might be, the great invitation is to know ourselves better, to get closer to ourselves, to live with more intimacy, with more honesty, with greater love and compassion, and for ourselves, that we may also be able to bring that and radiate that out to the world. But it has to come from within. And I feel like all of these outer experiences are really vehicles for the inner experience. I have been really blessed to have a lot of different experiences in this world, and some big travels, and from months on my own in a kayak and walking thousands of kilometers as well, a lot on my own in different continents, and spending a couple of years on a motorbike around the world. And it's a great gift to be able to have these experiences. And also, if you'd like to know a bit more about those experiences and how they brought me to here, then listen to the first episode of the podcast, and I go into a bit more detail. But what I became really aware of, actually maybe quite early in some of those travels, not all of them, I wasn't so aware, but in the more recent travels, was that these experiences, these big experiences in the life, in the world, and with the world, and in diverse experiences, in all aspects of society, and all types of cultures and religions and ways of being, and uncertainties and challenges and overwhelming beauty and generosity and big hearts, is that they were all experiences inviting me on my inner Camino, on my inner journey, to be able to understand myself and therefore the world at a greater level, in a greater depth. And I really feel, actually, when I look back at those things and feel those experiences, that they're probably the most precious and greatest gifts and education that I've had, more than the university that I've studied and other work experiences. They really took me closer to me. And I had to, but I got to meet myself in a much more intimate way, in a greater way. And I guess as things are challenged and tested, and moments invite us into, especially in the uncertainty and the unknown, we get to see a lot of ourselves. And I think this is really, yes, of course sometimes it's challenging, but I think it's really what makes life rich, and it's what makes the Camino rich, actually, is getting to know ourselves. And sometimes we get to know ourselves through somebody else, or someone reflects something back to us, or shows us something. But within that, I feel what's really useful is when we can have a question of, okay, well, why do I feel like that? Why? And I really want to be clear about something, not with the sake of entering a greater self-criticism or judgment or expectation or need to be something else, or that I should have acted better, or no, not looking to reject ourselves, looking to simply understand ourselves. And I feel like this is really in some ways the work of a lifetime, until we take the last breath, if we're interested, of course. And it's only any of these things are only if we're interested. If not, that there's no need to contemplate them. But this is what I feel really gives the life. It's what makes it so interesting, and we're here to try and get closer, to know ourselves better and better. And there's so many intricate aspects and layers to ourselves, and great, right? But to be also able to hold that and hold ourselves and each other in compassion and in love and acceptance. And acceptance doesn't mean repeating what I've done, but acceptance that has happened, or that's why I act this way or have acted this way, and being able to hold it in its fullness then can allow us to really walk this Camino, this life, in a more fuller way. And well, it takes a particular focus, and often it helps when the environments and people around us are also supporting us to look and to consider with integrity, to keep ourselves in integrity as well. I'd love to know what you feel is the greatest invitation of the Camino, and why. And if you haven't been to the Camino de Santiago, then the Camino of life can be one or the other, or both. Could be the same thing. Wishing a good journey, and for the inner and the outer Camino.